Look closely at the people around you. What you are witnessing is not a civilization of free thinkers, it is a global asylum of voluntary captives. Modern society has engineered a flawless, invisible cage, the matrix of mental subjugation. Observe the endless mechanical scrolling. Watch how the average person switches from one erratic thought to another, physically incapable of maintaining deep concentration for a mere 5 minutes without their brain practically begging for a cheap hit of digital dopamine. Their awareness is fractured. Their vital energy is scattered into the void. Their very consciousness is dictated by the loudest voices in the room. Look into their eyes. There is a distinct fog there, a dullness, a state of quiet, perpetual panic. They no longer possess the capacity to think, they are engineered simply to react. And that, my friend, is precisely how sovereignty is surrendered. Your cognitive weakness isn't a byproduct of laziness. It is the direct result of pollution. Your mind is drowning in toxic noise, meaningless opinions, cheap gossip, and synthetic notifications engineered to hijack your nervous system every few seconds. You aren't exhausted. You are completely overloaded. You aren't lacking drive. You are utterly devoid of direction. And while you wander through this engineered haze, your ultimate potential is quietly bleeding to death. The prologue, the Machiavellian ultimatum. Niccolò Machiavelli decoded this psychological battlefield centuries ago. Through ruthless observation, he realized that the most lethal individual in any room is never the physically strongest, nor the wealthiest. It is the individual who possesses absolute, unclouded cognitive clarity. He famously observed, "The wise man does at once what the fool does at last." Ultimately, the grand dividing line between the master and the pawn is clarity, the rare capability to slice through societal static and isolate exactly what matters. The sharper your intellect becomes, the more total dominion you command over your choices, your path, and your ultimate destiny. Picture a blade. A dull, neglected blade bends, chips, and shatters the moment it encounters resistance. But a perfectly honed edge cuts through the densest material with effortless precision and terrifying grace. Your mind is that weapon. Every single distraction blunts your edge. Every deliberate act of hyper-focus sharpens it. The ultimate question is, how lethal are you willing to make your mind? Today, we are moving beyond basic self-help cliches. You are about to master the dark art of cognitive warfare, learning how to utilize elite psychological principles to ossify your focus, systematically execute mental frailty, and rise entirely above the mundane noise of this civilization. You will discover what Machiavelli knew to be true. The ultimate game of supremacy is won within the silent, disciplined, and calculated chambers of your own mind. By the time this blueprint concludes, you won't just understand how to concentrate. You will become a focus incarnate, serene, cold, deliberate. Because once you master the terrain of your mind, external manipulation becomes impossible. You will see straight through the illusions of the masses. You will anticipate moves before they are even conceived. You will become a ghost strategist in a world screaming for attention. Right now, drop this declaration of intent in the comments below. My mind is my weapon. Chapter 1. The Sovereignty of Hyperfocus. Let us dismantle the first myth. Focus is not motivation. Focus is absolute psychological dominance in its purest distillation. The baseline human mind drifts aimlessly from one fleeting impulse to the next, constantly reacting, consuming, and hunting for superficial simulation it doesn't even comprehend. Under this condition, human attention becomes fragmented, brittle, and effortlessly manipulated by architects of control. Conversely, an elite mind refuses to move at the whim of external noise. It operates exclusively on execution. Every moment of unbroken concentration is a radical declaration of sovereignty over chaos. The axiom is absolute. The sharper the focus, the more formidable the intellect. Machiavelli noted, "He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command." This identical law dictates your internal world. A compromised mind serves the nearest distraction. A sovereign mind commands its attention like an absolute ruler governing an empire. Distraction rarely annihilates an individual overnight. It is a slow, corrosive drip. It erodes your capacity for deep thought moment by moment, until you are completely hollowed out. The masses constantly mistake frantic activity for actual progress. They race through existence, accumulating half-baked ideas and unfinished projects, comforting themselves with the illusion of movement. True power, however, originates in stillness, the rare capacity to channel the entirety of your psychological energy toward a singular, definitive target while the rest of the world frantically chases shadows. Focus demands that you stop doing more. It commands that you isolate the vital few and ruthlessly amputate the irrelevant many without a shred of remorse. Every fractured thought leaks power. Every restrained thought consolidates it. Those who master this domain do not waste their cognitive capital on trivial arguments, internet drama, or volatile emotions. They operate out of profound silence. Their stillness is deeply unsettling to the masses because it highlights a terrifying level of self-containment. When the collective panics, the sovereign mind remains unbothered. When others talk endlessly to validate their existence, the master simply observes. That composure isn't passive. It is lethal intelligence in active deployment. Machiavelli warned, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see, but few can feel." An individual moving with quiet, unshakable certainty has nothing to prove to the gallery. Their authority is immediately legible in the sheer weight of their concentration. True focus is built through radical subtraction, not addition. It crystallizes only when you systematically starve the brain of cheap simulation. This process is intensely uncomfortable initially, because silence strips away the noise and forces you to confront your raw reality. Yet, absolute clarity is forged only in that vacuum. And with clarity comes strategic precision, unyielding patience, and absolute self-command. Most minds resemble open windows in a storm. Every piece of passing debris flies inside. But the mind that learns to slam its gates shut against societal nonsense becomes an unassailable fortress. Deep concentration fundamentally alters your perception. When your focus deepens, decision-making becomes lightning fast and surgically clean. Emotional turbulence loses its grip on your actions. Your awareness no longer bends under heavy pressure. It strikes only when you authorize it. That is the calling card of an elite operator, deliberate consciousness. This level of presence is exceptionally rare and highly magnetic. People sense it instantly. They respect it instinctively, even if they cannot articulate why. In a culture addicted to instant reaction, calm execution looks like absolute authority. Machiavelli understood that clarity births command. A mind that knows exactly what it wants refuses to engage in petty competition. It simply dictates the parameters of reality. Focused awareness subtly alters environments, sways rooms, and commands deference without ever needing to raise its voice. It is the ultimate invisible lever, the kind that doesn't scream for recognition, but shifts the entire axis of a room through silent precision. In the modern age of total distraction, unshakable focus is the ultimate form of power. Pause right now and imprint this into the comments. Calm is control. Chapter 2. Subtractive Thinking, the Ruthless Art of Amputation. Beautiful, sharp statue. The sound of cold steel striking stone echoes. The contemporary world is obsessed with the cult of accumulation. The average person believes that to become wiser, they must ingest more data, read more headlines, accumulate more credentials, and consume endless streams of content. They treat their mind like a warehouse for garbage. The elite thinker understands the exact opposite. The intellect grows razor-sharp not by what it retains, but by what it ruthlessly discards. Ultimate clarity is never found in addition. It is revealed through systematic elimination. Machiavelli's timeless observation bears repeating. The wise man does at once what the fool does finally. The fool constantly adds layers of synthetic complexity to his life until his mind collapses under the sheer weight of its own unorganized clutter. The strategist, however, instantly strips away the superficial, exposing the stark architecture of truth underneath. The blueprint for mental supremacy requires you to unlearn, unplug, and amputate whatever weakens your understanding. Most psychological suffering is entirely self-inflicted. The modern mind is stuffed with noise masquerading as intelligence, fleeting trends, corporate gossip, superficial advice, and the volatile emotional baggage of broken individuals. Every single piece of irrelevance you tolerate is a micro-surrender of your sovereignty. The superior thinker views every tolerated distraction as a betrayal of their potential. Subtractive thinking is the active discipline of slicing before you sculpt, clearing the field before you build the monument. It requires surgical precision. It demands that you systematically discard false premises, sever ties with toxic influences, and strip away societal conditioning until nothing remains but raw, unadulterated reality. Machiavelli's entire philosophical framework was built on cold observation, completely detached from emotional comfort. He recognized that truth is almost always buried under heavy layers of collective self-delusion. Individuals who master this minimalist cognitive framework appear deeply mysterious to the public. They speak rarely, but when they do, their words carry the weight of an anchor. They act selectively, never frantically. The undisciplined mistake their restraint for coldness, entirely unaware that they are witnessing pure, concentrated clarity. Machiavelli identified strategic restraint as a premier tool of statecraft. Knowing precisely when to remain silent, when to withhold action, and when to decline engagement is the ultimate flex of power. He wrote, "There is no avoiding war. It can only be postponed to the advantage of others." Translated into the landscape of the mind, this means internal chaos cannot be bypassed by ignoring it. It must be neutralized by cutting off the fuel source that feeds it. When your mind is stripped of superficial clutter, external chaos completely loses its ability to affect you. Subtractive thinking converts raw intelligence into an instrument of pure precision. The fewer distractions you permit past your perimeter, the more acute your perception becomes. It is the discipline of intense simplicity, not emptiness, but hyper-concentrated awareness. Nothing can disorient a mind that has mastered the art of letting go of what does not matter. Leave your mark in the comments. Less is clarity. Chapter 3. The Channels of Internal Empire. Every single manifestation of external power originates from absolute internal control. An individual incapable of governing their own internal state is nothing more than a puppet operated by passing emotions, cheap impulses, and external circumstances. The illusion of balance convinces the weak that they can split their loyalty between comfort and power. But comfort is a psychological sedative. It actively erodes your control. True strength is found in the unwavering command of your thoughts, precisely when your emotions are screaming for chaos. Machiavelli postulated, the first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. Apply this metric internally. The men surrounding your mind are your daily thoughts. If your thoughts are undisciplined, reactive, and weak, then the ruler of that mind is a peasant. Mental sovereignty is the absolute bedrock of personal authority. Without it, every single external success you achieve will eventually collapse like a house of cards. The modern mind is perpetually torn apart by external triggers engineered to exploit human vulnerability. Fear dictates economic choices. Anger blindfolds critical judgment. Anxiety completely paralyzes present-moment execution. The masses mistake these knee-jerk reactions for genuine awareness. They aren't executing strategy, they are simply reacting to stimuli. Machiavelli explicitly warned that disaster frequently arrives heavily disguised as an incredible opportunity. He wrote, "Whosoever desires constant success must change his conduct with the times." A mastered intellect does exactly that. It adapts fluidly without ever compromising its foundation. When hit with massive external pressure, it recalibrates, it never panics. When directly challenged, it adjusts its trajectory, it never breaks. To the sovereign thinker, every intense emotion is merely raw data, not a directive for disorder. The masses allow temporary feelings to steer their life choices, spending years regretting actions taken during a 5-minute temper tantrum. Those who practice elite self-mastery analyze first and execute second. They never reverse the sequence. Their supernatural serenity under extreme pressure isn't an accident of birth. It is a trained adaptation forged through thousands of unrecorded moments of raw restraint. The rare capacity to remain completely unmoved while the room shakes around you is the ultimate indicator of psychological sovereignty. To completely master your intellect means maintaining unyielding governance over 3 distinct domains: attention, emotion, and time. Attention dictates what enters your reality. Emotion determines how that reality is categorized. Time dictates exactly when you strike. Lose control over any single one of these pillars, and your personal empire collapses. This is why highly dangerous individuals rarely expose their emotional hand in public. They conserve their vital currency by remaining completely deliberate. You cannot build a sovereign mind through wishful thinking alone. It requires a rigid, unyielding internal architecture. Habits are the iron beams of that architecture. Consistent, cold self-observation builds psychological predictability, and predictability breeds supreme confidence. Over time, your mind begins to follow your commands naturally, instinctively obeying the iron discipline it has been shaped by. Furthermore, internal control dramatically elevates your external perception. When your internal dialogue is quiet, your situational awareness expands exponentially. You begin to see through the social masks of others. Manipulation tactics become laughably obvious. Emotional traps laid by competitors lose all efficacy. True mental control is not cold, unfeeling sociopathy. It is supreme psychological refinement. It is the deliberate transmutation of internal chaos into crystal clear strategy, the conversion of baseline reaction into absolute command. The individual who governs their thoughts dictates their destiny. Every great empire, every massive fortune, and every historic triumph began in the quiet, highly organized trenches of a disciplined mind. Acknowledge this truth below. Control creates power. Chapter 4. Precision thinking is the grand differentiator. The elite mind operates on the inverse protocol. It isolates one singular high-leverage objective and channels the entire reservoir of its cognitive focus into that specific point until reality bends to its will. Machiavelli wrote, "It is better to act and repent than not to act and regret." Do not misunderstand this. Precision is not hesitant overthinking. Precision is highly calculated action executed with cold accuracy, completely divorced from emotional desperation. Every legendary strategist understands that one single, perfectly timed executive decision outweighs 1,000 frantic, impulsive efforts. The true metric of intellectual capacity is not the speed of your thoughts, but their definitive accuracy. A mind lacking precision is like a heavy sword without an edge, full of mass, but completely incapable of slicing through real resistance. Precision begins with hyper-acute observation. It is the rare skill to detect the hidden patterns shifting beneath superficial chaos, to notice the minute details that the average person misses, to connect disparate events long before they manifest on the surface. Vague thinkers are entirely dependent on luck. Precise thinkers design definitive outcomes. Machiavellian psychology establishes that authentic control is achieved not through brute, clumsy force, but through deep structural understanding. When your intellect can dissect hidden motives, accurately anticipate opponent moves, and master micro-timing, you stop competing in the market. You quietly dominate it. The core essence of precision is radical economy. Speaking less, moving less, revealing less, but executing every single choice with flawless accuracy. Average minds are deeply addicted to the dopamine of constant activity. Superior minds are obsessed exclusively with results. An elite thinker operates like a master surgeon. One clean incision, zero wasted motion, no unnecessary bleeding. This level of execution demands immense patience, because launching an offensive at the wrong moment completely destroys your strategic advantage. The impatient frantically chase opportunities. The precise wait for the board to align. Every single error committed by your environment becomes a strategic map for your intellect. Failure is never feared. It is dissected under a microscope. Each misstep highlights an instruction manual for your next offensive. This methodology converts basic observation into a weapon of war. Machiavelli's maxim remains absolute. The wise man does at once what the fool does finally. Precision embodies this exact law. It is clean, calculated, and instantaneous. It slices through structural confusion like a silent command. While the collective drowns in a sea of endless options, the precise thinker sees only the target. Furthermore, precision thinking generates an immense aura of quiet authority. Humans instinctively place their trust in individuals who refuse to rush, those who act with clean purpose and unwavering self-confidence. That silent focus exerts an invisible, crushing weight on your surroundings. It signals undeniable mastery. Nothing commands a room quite like an intellect that moves only when absolutely necessary, and never strikes the same place twice. Precision makes your words rare but incredibly heavy. It makes your actions few, but devastatingly final. Such a mind can never be manipulated, because it has mapped the entire game before the opponents have even opened the board. In a hyper-distracted civilization, precision is the ultimate form of intelligence. Declare your standard in the comments. Precision is power. Chapter 5. Emotional immunity, the immovable fortress. Emotional immunity is the invisible, heavy armor worn by elite minds. The vast majority of the population collapses under the sheer weight of their own volatile feelings, allowing a single passing insult, a minor rejection, or a temporary disappointment to dictate their entire psychological state. They are completely predictable, effortlessly provoked, and easily controlled by anyone who understands how to pull their emotional levers. The exact second you allow emotion to take the wheel, your intelligence exits the building. Machiavelli observed, "The one who deceives will always find those who allow themselves to be deceived." Emotionally volatile individuals are the ultimate targets for deception, because they make massive life choices based on fleeting spikes of dopamine, fear, or pride, rather than objective intelligence. Let's be clear, emotional immunity is not the complete absence of human feeling. It is the rare capability to remain completely stable while a storm of feelings burns intensely beneath your surface. It is pristine composure under intense internal pressure, absolute silence in the face of direct provocation, and unshakable calm in environments that would completely shatter an ordinary mind. An individual lacking emotional sovereignty is like a house without walls in a hurricane. Every passing social wind enters their space and violently rearranges their internal reality. The disciplined mind builds heavy, invisible perimeters, not to deny emotion, but to contain it. Anger, envy, paranoia, and self-doubt are not failures. They are raw biometric signals. They pinpoint the exact structural weak spots in your psyche that must be reinforced. True emotional immunity begins with radical self-awareness, recognizing an internal emotional spike without ever surrendering your physical actions to it. This structural gap transforms baseline reaction into deep strategic understanding. The operator who feels a surge of raw anger but refuses to alter their facial expression or verbal cadence gains immediate leverage over the room. The individual who feels an icy grip of fear but evaluates the threat using pure, cold logic masters their primal instincts. Every single time an emotion flares up and your self-control holds the line, your internal fortress becomes more unassailable. Machiavelli insisted that successful rulers must master the art of looking compassionate on the surface while remaining entirely rational underneath. He wrote, "A prince never lacks legitimate reasons to break his promise." The core lesson beneath that cynical realism is total psychological adaptability. Emotion must never be permitted to interfere with macro strategy. In contemporary life, those who remain perfectly centered when everyone else in the room is losing their minds gain immense influence without facing any resistance. When an adversary throws emotional fire at you, absolute composure transforms you into a polished mirror. The aggressor is forced to watch their own instability bounce right back into their face. This instantly reverses the power dynamic. Emotional control is not cold, robotic emptiness. It is clarity protected by pristine composure. The more immune your mind becomes, the less power external chaos has over your life. The masses will look at your stability with deep confusion, wondering how you remain completely unbroken while the corporate or social landscape burns around you. But that calm is engineered through repeated internal restraint. Every silent response to an insult is another brick laid in the fortress of your self-command. The emotionally immune operator sees straight through the desperate theater of human behavior. When others shout to feel powerful, the master simply listens. When others panic and burn their assets, the master quietly observes. That observation uncovers the real motives, hidden vulnerabilities, and dark truths concealed beneath the noise. It is a detachment born not from ignorance, but from supreme awareness, knowing that every ounce of energy you waste on a reactive emotional outburst is vital currency stolen directly from your execution. Machiavelli would define this as invisible dominance, the refined art of appearing completely unbothered, while quietly orchestrating the final outcome of the game. Emotional immunity turns raw chaos into massive opportunity. It sharpens your perception to remain perfectly stable regardless of external turbulence. And that unshakable stability creates an aura of deep mystery. Those who cannot be shaken eventually become completely untouchable. The world naturally bends to those who refuse to bend to the world. Drop this sign law in the comments. Calm never loses. Chapter 6. Cognitive sharpness commands autonomous respect. Cognitive sharpness is a universal language that the world understands without a single word being spoken. In an era dominated by loud noise and superficial arrogance, the rare individual who moves through life with quiet precision strategic restraint, and absolute composure becomes completely impossible to ignore. The masses constantly confuse popularity with respect. True respect has absolutely nothing to do with being liked. It flows from silent authority, that undeniable aura of self-mastery that forces others to recognize your discipline before you even open your mouth. Machiavelli laid down the definitive rule: it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. In the landscape of modern life, that fear is not physical intimidation, it is deeply psychological. It is that quiet, distinct discomfort that ordinary people feel when they stand in the presence of an individual who cannot be swayed by cheap flattery, persuaded by social pressure, or provoked into a childish argument. Cognitive sharpness radiates immense power without ever needing to display raw aggression. It communicates entirely through calibrated behavior. A sharp mind never chases external validation. It establishes its own unyielding internal standard. And that self-defined boundary forces the environment to either rise to its level or retreat entirely from its space. Every action taken is highly intentional. Every single response is calculated. Every silence is deliberate. The collective deeply respects what it cannot predict. When your emotions remain tightly controlled and your thoughts are completely unreadable, people will approach your perimeter with immense caution and deep curiosity. Sharpness then matures into a premier form of social dominance, not through clumsy force, but through a level of self-control so distinct that others experience it as a physical pressure. The more composed your demeanor becomes, the more magnetic your presence grows. That magnetism isn't superficial charisma. It is pure psychological mastery. It is the radiating energy of a human being who has completely conquered the chaos within their own mind. Machiavelli taught that appearances influence power dynamics just as much as actual physical maneuvers. He wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." The sharp individual utilizes this psychological truth with total strategic intent. Every movement is clean. Every facial expression is measured. There is absolutely no desperate need to explain, justify, or over-reveal your strategy to the public. The less you reveal, the greater the impact of your strike. People respect restraint because they know how difficult it is to practice. They respect silence because it implies immense internal confidence. They respect calm because it signals total dominance over primal emotion. Sharpness is the advanced art of knowing exactly when to deploy action and when to remain completely still, of mastering the precise timing that dictates public perception. In a highly distracted society, calm precision stands out far more than loud, desperate ambition. Machiavelli understood that true influence requires maintaining strategic distance. Too much casual familiarity breeds deep social contempt. The sharp mind maintains boundaries so clearly defined that others never forget where they stand. Respect always flows toward those who hold themselves to a completely different standard. Sharpness doesn't ask for permission to rule. It enforces its authority through presence alone. In the final analysis, the sharp become entirely untouchable not by being bullies, but by demonstrating unassailable excellence. Their focus, calmness, and unyielding restraint speak louder than any desperate declaration of strength ever could. Write it down in the comments. Respect follows clarity. Chapter 7. Alchemy of the Scar, Transforming Error into Strategy. Let us correct a massive societal delusion. Mistakes are not failures. Mistakes are the heavy, unmistakable fingerprints of strategic progress. Every single error you commit, every miscalculation you make, and every moment of regret you endure is simply a coded message from reality, exposing exactly what your ego tried to hide from you. The weak run from their mistakes because their fragile pride confuses tactical pain with personal punishment. The elite thinker, however, dissects their mistakes under a bright light because they understand that raw pain is the highest form of strategic instruction. Machiavelli's primary principle bears repeating: a wise man does at once what the fool does at last. The difference lies entirely in the speed of your recognition, the rare capability to look a massive mistake dead in the eye immediately, extract its underlying structural lesson, and convert it into a concrete strategy before it has a chance to fester into mental weakness. The world brutally punishes those who repeat the identical error over and over again, because it views them as structurally unfit to govern themselves. Learning from your missteps has absolutely nothing to do with wallowing in useless guilt. It is about cold, fast adaptation. An individual who deeply studies their own failures becomes infinitely more dangerous than an amateur who has simply avoided risk. Raw failure sharpens your real-world judgment in ways that soft comfort never can. Each wrong decision strips away a hidden blind spot, revealing exactly how your temporary emotions, impulses, or ego distorted your logic. The wise utilize these moments of failure to completely reconstruct their internal mental architecture. They don't seek pity from their peers, nor do they look for cheap excuses. They analyze the structural patterns, ask precisely why the variable failed, and aggressively rewire the behavioral loops until the exact same trap cannot catch them twice. That process builds a dense, quiet intelligence, the kind of raw wisdom that can never be bought from academic textbooks, but is forged only by surviving real-world consequences. Every psychological scar becomes a strategic memory. Each disappointment turns into a silent tutor. Machiavelli believed that bad fortune is not an enemy, but a premier mentor. He wrote, "Fortune shows her power where valor has not prepared to resist her. Mistakes show you exactly where your preparation was lacking. When processed correctly, they train your mind to develop high-level anticipation." The individual who has deeply studied their own downfalls no longer fears future uncertainty, because they have mapped their personal limits and systematically conquered them. True intelligence is not a static IQ score. It is self-correction in permanent motion. Those who learn from their failures evolve at an exponential rate because they instantly convert emotional pain into raw power instead of psychological paralysis. Over time, this relentless adaptability transforms them into something entirely unbreakable. Not because they never trip, but because they no longer fear the fall at all. Machiavelli saw clearly that the bedrock of human resilience lies in aggressive self-education through adversity. The mistake itself is never the true problem. The refusal to analyze it is a death sentence. The individual who studies their own downfall learns exactly how to control its reputation. And that internal control is the absolute essence of power. The operator who never denies their mistakes becomes entirely immune to external manipulation, because no one can ever use your past against you once you have already converted that past into pristine strategic wisdom. The conclusion: the awakening of the shadow strategist. They do not chase cheap distractions. They ruthlessly eliminate them from their perimeter. They don't seek social validation. They build internal clarity. Every single moment of deep focus becomes a radical act of dominance in a civilization addicted to engineered confusion. Machiavelli wrote these definitive words: "Men rise from one ambition to another. First, they seek to secure themselves against attack. Then they attack others." The sharpened intellect follows this exact evolutionary path. First, it aggressively eliminates internal weakness and secures its mental borders. Then it gains absolute self-control. Finally, it commands massive influence over its reality without ever needing to say a word. Like this video to seal your intent. Share it with an individual who is actually ready to evolve past the noise, and subscribe to this circle to permanently sharpen your mind into a weapon of purpose. Every historic transformation begins with a single flash of absolute awareness. You have just executed the first step. Never forget, A sharp mind cuts through everything. Drop your final seal in the comments below. My mind is my greatest weapon.